Did you get that? It's raining hard in Bafusam, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, it's an indication that before we start the program right now, we want to announce to you all, wherever you are, you're about to come into Bafusam. You know, we always say that because of you people, dear televiewers, now you understand why you must stay connected to the program. Whenever it's 2:30, NG Television, the program in the heart of the city, just stay connected. We give you infotainment, entertainment, and of course, all the tainment, you understand, from this end. And so if you want to come into town, you wanna, wherever you are around Bafusam, out of Bafusam, one can never tell. Maybe you may thinking that it can take 5 hours for you to reach Bafusam. It's raining, so just protect yourselves. And if you're somewhere, because I tell you what, sometimes it can be raining around Entrée Economy here, and maybe Entrée de la Vie is not raining. It doesn't mean if you are at Entrée de la Vie right now and it's not raining, note that it is raining hard right now at Entrée Economy, and so just take precautionary motives before you step out. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, once more. Thanks for taking the rendezvous, for being with us on set this afternoon. As far as the program in the heart of the city is concerned, we're glad to be back. The three of us, we're here again to ride through the program from this end. It's September 23rd. 23, good. September 23, we are here again. I tell you what, first of all, when you think about mobility and physical impairment, there is a problem. You think about, spinal cord disability and so on, there is a problem. These are just two of some of the things that will announce to somebody that you may have a deficiency or a difficulty in terms of, the 6 communication signs, if I may say, and we know them already. Hearing, yes, when we were growing in the kindergarten, the primary level, we thought that you have 5 senses, but as technology is advancing, the world is advancing, things are changing, that's how more senses are coming into play. And so now I'm talking about 6 senses. And so speech deficiency, hearing deficiency, what again, we know all that now. Speech, hearing, seeing, and so on. Sight, good, thank you so much. Smell, and so the people who, especially those who were born sinusitis, Miss B, we are confused, right? All right, those who suffer from sinuses, if I may say, and maybe they are called sinusitis. The girls will surely have Miss B. This is serious. Okay, Binda says gist. Okay, no, all right. Maybe you were born, and you have a problem, with smell. You have crude sinuses. Good. It's an indication that you have a problem with one, sense device. And so today we celebrate, you understand? We celebrate people who are actually, in this domain, sign languages, you understand. It's the day today, the International Day of Sign Languages. And so to persons who communicate various, they communicate through various signs, like there are verbal signs. Yeah, sometimes you get them really talking, but you don't hear what they're talking. Speech deficiency, if I may say, it's a problem. And yes, some are seeing also, but again, they can't really talk. They do communicate with the eyes and so on. All that is involved with what we're celebrating this day, ladies and gentlemen. So every year, September 23 is celebrated as the International Day of Sign Languages. You understand? The day supports and protects the linguistic identity of people who are deaf, along with other users of the sign languages. So that's where we are today, and to all those who are communicating through symbols and so on and so on. Of course, one love from this Zen is an indication that God is so big. God didn't, put the genres of persons and put those who can talk well, those who can see well, those who can hear well. Would you have ever imagined that God can, in its multiple faces, you understand, can show his image even through this direction? So from this end, all those who are involved, those who communicate through sign languages and so on, good afternoon to you all. We're glad to celebrate this day. It's an indication that we have you all at heart. The international bodies, they have you all at heart. National communities and organizations, and even the government have you all at heart. That's why I think if it's not yesterday, it could be the day before yesterday, the Minister of Vocational Training, if I'm not mistaken, good. is it the Minister of Vocational Training? Yeah, was in in one of these centers in the Far North region for the inaugural ceremony. Equally, I think recently around the Far North region, the governor and team were offering, didactic materials to those who are visually impaired and so on and so on, to, announce to them or wish them the very best of the school here is a gesture worth applauding, if I must say, from this. So let us emulate, if I must say, these types of gestures, you understand. So there's an indication the Cameroon government, other governments, the world bodies and so on, we or even Miss B or Lady B, of course, we have you all at heart. Now you understand why some of them may be this way, but again, you see them pushing hard, and most of them very intelligent, and they occupy, inclusive education. They occupy even top positions in, strategic, ministries and so on, not only in Cameroon, even out of Cameroon. And so that's it there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the day where we are today. So Central Mic, it's your girl, Miss B or Lady B. Whenever you see my face, you call me that. Pretty smiles from the zenith. In the heart of the city production room, we dance according to your tune this afternoon. We want to say hi to somebody this afternoon. Who do you choose for us this afternoon? Let's read you, your lips. It's sign languages today, joined in them. And so I'm going to read you today through sign languages. You understand? Okay, Miss B, how do they do this thing? But again, it's a gift, no doubt, to be able to communicate that way. It's a gift, and the way they do it is so beautiful. Have you ever bothered, even watching the news? Those who are visually impaired, yeah, who can hear but cannot see. From what they're hearing, it makes the world so beautiful. Those who can see but can't hear, but from the signed languages, you see them understanding the news in the heart of the city, exactly like Miss B or Lady B. All right, production room, we say hi to somebody this afternoon. We leave Miss B or Lady B with the choice to turn over to somebody. Last time I began with Bina. I'm going to turn over to you, Moriko. I see you really protect yourself this afternoon. What's up? The sky is blue.
Yes, Miss B, it's wet.
The sky is wet, not blue.
Yes, it's not blue, it's wet. Thank you, Miss
Thank
B.
you.
Good afternoon to you.
All right, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Cynthia. Good afternoon. Thank you. All right. We'll know why we'll laugh later. No, the sky is not blue later. I know where that blue is going to.
Thank you.
And we'll be landing anytime soon. Good afternoon to all of you. If you happen to be in Bafoussam, please take care of yourself.
Very serious.
Because it's pretty cold over there. In fact, it's it's raining cats and dogs over here too. Apart from that, there's so much cold. So just think of all the modalities possible. Now, the only thing that I want to just say this afternoon is about wearing dresses that are really that can permit us to feel better during this weather. Now we can wear pullovers like Cynthia B has just done, and she's fixing her pullover. Though she means that's the deal. It's a deal for it. You can wear your pullovers. It's important. You can wear mufflers as well, like what I did this afternoon, because some people really feel cold at the level of their chest.
Thank you.
So others feel it at the level of their feet, like myself. So when no matter how cold it is, I always feel my feet. So wear socks. If you happen to be like that, wear socks. Wear covered shoes. Some people even have soft shoes for house or for the home, up to the extent of sleeping with them. The very soft version of slippers or shoes.
Good.
Now
you're right. I think Miss B has one.
Yes, Miss B.
It's all wool.
It's very soft, and it has no sole. Practically no sole. Yes, so you can try that. For children, get them pullovers, especially turtleneck pullovers. That will take them right up here. Then wear some. I think there are some kids, especially with babies. You can wear them hand gloves as well. No, babies always like putting their fingers in their mouth. At a certain age, they would suck out all the juice in their fingers. Just wear it, even if they have to suck. Just wear it. Just be alert that every time it's wet, you change, because once it's wet, it can also be a problem to them. Then the other thing about adults is that when you're going out of home, get pullovers, get umbrellas. It's important. And for the big boys in school, especially secondary schools and even primary schools, you can get them raincoats. I know some of us on this set surely use raincoats in our days, because my days I used to really not like it at all, because when you wear it, you will just be like you are tight, you are in a whole bundle, and sometimes it's difficult for you to walk. But it's good because it protects everything about you from the head to your toe, especially your school bag. So dear parents, think of raincoats for your children, put it in their bags so that it will help them. Before putting it in their bags, teach them how to wear it too.
Good.
Because some don't know how to wear it. You find some putting the hands in where the cap is supposed to be and all of that. So teach them while you're sending them to school. So that's what I had to share with us today.
Thank you so much, Mariko. Pretty cool here, especially, I don't know, these days, I think, you understand, the skies are beginning to announce something. But again, it's an indication that, the right season is at the corner, so the last rains are pouring out venom, you understand? And wherever you are, protect yourselves. Very important. We're here to tell you about that, or remind you about that, in as much as we remind ourselves concerning that. You must keep warm. I tell you what, when that thing they call cold gets into your chest, it's all over. Every other illness come in play. You understand? That's why we're here to remind each and every one, take care of yourselves, protect yourselves. It's an indication that you keep warm. Thank you so much, Mariko. And one word there for all the visually impaired, those who suffer speech deficiency and so on. Today is their day.
Yes, Miss B, it's really challenging to have someone like that around us, especially when we have all our senses.
Good.
Yes, it's challenging. I remember when I was in university, I learned sign language, but I was not too interested, unlike some other mates who would stay put and follow up to the end. But what I noticed was that with sign language, you need to really be attentive.
Good.
So you can be faced with someone who is speechless, or he has a problem with hearing, or speech. Yes, like I said, speechless. It becomes complicated, and sometimes it's even a hearing problem. Sometimes you need to scream at the top of your voice before they hear you. Sometimes you need to write it down on a paper and show them. Sometimes you need to show it with signs, your hands. I remember in those days we used to indicate that a man is how they show that.
This is serious. I didn't know that. Come again.
Like
I wish we could
because
really put you on camera.
Men have mustache.
Thank you.
So that's the way you indicate that it's a man. And with the woman, they used to do something like this.
Thank you.
Yes.
Production room, please permit us demand for Mariko on
So
board.
those are
Thank
some
you.
of the
Mariko is
signs.
there.
Miss V.
How do we say good afternoon to all the men out there who are visually or just
I will
suffering?
not be able to tell that.
I understand, but can we really?
Yes, in fact, if you're saying hi to a man, if you're telling someone that I'm referring to a man, this is what they do.
This is serious.
Yes, because men generally have a mustache.
Okay,
Yes.
this is
But
very
now,
interesting.
When it comes to women, you do like this.
Good, that's for the women.
Yes, and it's really swift and quick.
No, but I'm glad to hear that you at least did something small concerning
Yes,
that. I did not.
Yes,
I'd
Miss
never
B,
even
I
come
did.
across. Can you just communicate
I
to
really
them a
regret
little?
why I ran away, Miss B. That's why I want to advise people this afternoon to run, because
Good.
that's a job on its own. That's a whole profession on its own. So with the women, they'll tell you, okay, with the baby, I think with the baby they'll do something like this to
Okay.
indicate that the person is small.
Good.
Yes, small. Apart from that, there are so many other things that I can't tell more about. But there were many signs that were really interesting, Miss B. And when you come into the classroom, everywhere was quiet when it was that lesson.
didn't
Because the
speak.
tutor practically goes with signs.
Oh, this is serious.
So, and even if you know how to talk, honestly, you are not supposed to talk there. So when you want to answer questions, you could make errors and put up your hand and talk and speak out. And the cell will just ask you to go out. Because normally you are not called to talk.
Good.
Once you talk, it means that you're killing the other person who is surely deficient. He has deficiency in hearing or in speech or in any other sign. Now when it comes to, I don't know if you talked about sight too.
Good.
Sight.
Yes, sights.
Visually impaired persons. The white stick. That's what we were taught begin about. That's the white stick, because generally visually impaired persons go with white sticks. So they taught us how to accommodate them. When you meet them, see when they are crossing the road, because you could be walking on the street and you just find a white stick that comes towards you and surely knocks you. It's not because they intentionally do that, but they are looking for their way.
Good.
So the white stick actually permits them get their way through, and how to help them cross the road, how to show them a path and all of that. It's challenging, I must say. I just want to say a big shout out to all parents who have children of that domain, because Miss B, when you look at them, honestly, you thank God for who you are, for what you are. Even if you don't have a dime, that's where you start seeing the importance of your eyes that are still open, your ears that can permit you hear, your mouth that can permit you talk and walk, and every other part that can permit you move about.
Thank you so much. Most of them are very, most often very intelligent,
Very.
pretty as well, handsome as well. But again, it's an indication that God has a reason for everything. So there is no way we can communicate to them this afternoon, even in one word.
Oh, Miss B, I will just do this and say hi.
Oh, thank
then
you.
I'll do this and say hi.
Oh, come
I
on.
think that way they've understood. I'm talking to men, then maybe I'll say.
Oh,
so then
thank
I'm talking
you.
to the kids.
Oh, this is serious, very important. Even just the three that I wish Miss B knew even one. All right, thank you so much, Mariko, for that beautiful one there, ladies and gentlemen. We were, we were talking on, the International Day for the, what's that? Sign languages, good sign languages, and there are lots of persons who are involved into this. Those who live in the reality in terms of hearing, in terms of seeing, in terms of talking, in terms of smelling, in terms of you understand, and so on. So today, this day is an indication, come back to say, that we have you all at hand, or at heart, if I must say. And if we have to go, we have to really go by the UN General Assembly this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In its resolution 72/130 declared on 16 May, the International Day of Sign Languages has lots of significance. Why do they bring this day? Why this day? What is so peculiar about this day? We go over to Binda, we say hi, and we will come to talk about that this afternoon. Good afternoon, Binda. Thanks for coming today.
Good afternoon to you.
Good.
And same to you, Michael. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all our televiewers. There's so many people that are watching us. We're very much happy to be with all of you wherever you find yourself.
Good.
Time for me is B to wish happy birthday to my kid sister.
Okay.
Linda Vanessa, she is 1 year old.
Okay.
She has been sounding it everywhere around the house. I have not wished her happy birthday, so I said I'm just going to wish her happy birthday on TV. I'm going to wish her a happy birthday and many more years, and all those who have 1 more year.
Good.
During this month of November, I wish you guys a happy birthday for this month.
Thank you so much, Binda. Of course, it's happy birthday to you, Vanessa, and all those who were born today. Today is the 23rd of September. 23rd of September 2021. Okay, Vanessa, lots of others born on the 23rd of September since 19, you understand, no problem. We're not interested in 19 or 18, you understand. But what we're interested this afternoon is your birthday. Best of wishes from this end. All that you ever wish yourselves, we wish you from this end. Before we start the program proper this afternoon, we're asking, why do most Christians, often sleep during preaching times in church? You understand? Whenever it's preaching time, that's when all the sleep comes. There is something, another angle we have to talk on that this afternoon. But before we go there, Binda, any word for those who deal with sign languages this afternoon?
I have a brother that was in trouble, so
Okay.
it's difficult to communicate with him. It's really complicated to communicate with him sometimes. Sometimes he has to explain things and you will not understand.
This is serious.
It's really not easy to deal with persons like that.
And how do you communicate with him?
Well, we try to communicate. There's always a way.
This is
He
serious.
plays with the others that talk normally. We play together.
And the fun is that they understand you.
Yes.
They easily pick things, but they can't
They
really.
understand themselves, they play and they laugh about
Oh,
you. Wonder
come on.
what is happening, that how do they talk, how do they communicate, but they manage to communicate together and they get to understand themselves. The same as we too try to understand him. He has a problem. There's a way he communicates. It's since as we've been with him, it's very easy for us to understand a number of things.
Okay.
Whenever there's a problem, he uses his hands to explain some things to us before he can possibly understand. He tells that his teacher is, it's very complicated. I cannot say that I can really explain it, but most of the time it's preferable to send his children to schools where they can be adapted to this kind of things.
Good.
I had back in the secondary school, I had friends that were blind.
Okay.
How do they used to recognize person through the smell?
Okay.
Yes, when they come to class, those who are blind, what they do is that they know that it's you. When you just get next to them, just say that you just call your name. And you wonder like, how did you know that I'm the one? So no, but I
It's a
knew.
strong,
Yes.
sense of smell.
Yes, to have a strong sense of
Oh,
smell.
this
to
is
always
serious.
know what comes about around them, so it helps them to differentiate. So most of the times when they do these things, most people are surprised. But I want to encourage them this afternoon. Most people always take them as human beings apart, as if they're not the same like some of us. You don't have to take your being that way as a challenge or anything that makes you different. To a human being, and each of us has something that makes the person to be handicapped in one way
Good.
or the other. This is one thing you should remember. Don't think that maybe because I see, I talk, and all those things, it means that I don't have my own thing that makes me to be handicapped. You should also say that you are a normal being like any other person, and each and every one of us should take them the way they are. Most people have the tendency of laughing at them. People mock at them. You mock at them. You see them going, if they see them on the street begging for money, they'll be like, no, your mates are like this. Some of them it's difficult for them to have jobs too, because they say no, you lack one thing or the other and they cannot give it to you. So I want all of us to take them the way they are.
Good.
If there's a day that has been made for them like this, it means that it is a real problem that we really need to look into, and we need to accept these persons. That could please be.
Thank you so much, Binda. This is very important. Sometimes even they can't see, but you wonder how they know you're around. Sometimes even they can't talk, but they do some things that you wonder is an indication that God is all powerful. That's what I can say this afternoon. And so you take them as they are. Good, Miracle. Anything?
I wanted to say something about it in the sense that I noticed too that people who have lost one of their senses
Good.
always have another sense. That's the four others. Since we have it five, if for example you have a minus one, the four others worked extremely hard to cover the field. So generally they are very bright people. Yes, very very bright people,
Very intelligent.
and very pushful too. So we just need to support them.
We need to support them.
Yes, we just need to
Always.
support them always.
Good. Thank you so much, Mariko. That comes back to see. On a day like this, we support and protect, those with linguistic identities, you understand, around us. When you see them, support and protect them. And somebody may be wondering, how do we protect them? I think an example was given this afternoon. If you're walking by the roadside, see some of them struggling to cross over, help them cross. Help them cross. If you are by people living with this, help them bring out the best in them. That's the support we're talking about. You notice something in them, how to bring it out is difficult for them. Lots of them are endowed with multiple talents, and so help them to bring that out. Maybe one is not talking and the person beside you, maybe somebody will be saying, what do you mean by supporting them? Okay, you know that this person can actually put up a portrait. In fact, if you sit there, the person can paint you out with the hands, not even with paint. And support this kind of persons, promote them to the world, take them closer to world. They can have sponsors, they can have people to make them go viral. That's what we're talking about. And so on a day like this, we protect and support those who have linguistic identities. And talking about that, we stay with the theme this year, 2021. We sign for human rights, protect how each of us, deaf and hearing people around the world, can work together hand in hand to promote the recognition of our rights and to use sign languages in all areas of life. That's the theme for the 2021 edition of the International Day of Sign Languages. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching anything to add there, it's cool. Mind you, those who can even be watching the program, they can't really see, but they hear and know what is happening. Before you know it, the message pops up the other ones. This is so important this afternoon. I'm so happy with this particular International Day today because it's it's introducing to us, we all, the multiple forms of God. God in his diverse forms, God in multiple facets, if I must say. That's who he is. And so thanks to we thank the international bodies, we thank those who actually chose this day to make it a reality today. One word there is to stand by those who are suffering from linguistic identity. Support them if you can. You may not be able to support in cash, you can support in kind. You understand? Thank you so much, Binda. Thank you, Maricol. In the heart of the city, if you just tune in, we were, at the introductory phase of the program this afternoon. Why do most Christians often sleep during preaching times in church? We talk about that today, but this time around, we want to talk, we've talked on the reasons why. And Tuesday, I remember we talked on, some of the propositions, how we can fight that a little. Today, we want to talk, on how pastors can make their messages interesting, so that this is not all about the Christians, you understand. So wherever you're watching, numbers are in front of your screen while we're waiting to really reach discussion forum or discussion time to talk about that. Let's go straight into black plums, Miracle. And today, are we talking preservation?
Yes, Ms. B.
Thank you so much. You have the floor.
We'll be talking about preservation
Good.
of black plums, or fruit noir.
Thank you.
We always call it in French. Or black. Yes, I remember when we were much more in our local parlance, we say black. Say, I want black.
Good.
You get black. Like, so if you don't know what we're talking about, that's what we are talking exactly about. Now, how do you preserve it? It's exactly like you want to preserve your plums or your safu. It's the same way. If you don't keep it very well, it might just get ready on its own.
Thank you.
So you need to keep it in airy space, Miss B, because it's very, very sensitive too. Now, when you are into this business, generally you'll notice that people keep it inside, how they call it, this kenja, what call kenja. What the tomatoes always comes out from when we go to the market. Now you put it inside, and then you leave it to be there for a while. Given that this kenja is made out of bamboo the sticks, so it can absorb anything heat. So you just pour it inside and keep it in your storehouses or magazines. Now, another way to avoid that you shouldn't waste is that buy just the quantity that would be sufficient for you. Yes, like you know your business already. You know how much it takes for you to sell maybe 15 liters, 10 liters, and so on and so forth. So it just depends. If you're just a beginner, I would advise you to start gradually. But generally, when you buy in bulk, it's cheaper for you, because your sales you might discover that at the end you will have more gains than just taking them in small quantities, like say 5 liters maybe, or 3 liters. Go for the 15 liters. Like Santia said here lastly, that it's 5,000 francs for 5 liters, for 15 liters. So get your 5,000 francs and go get the 15 liters. Then you spread it. Don't leave it in the bucket when you come back home. Don't leave it in the back meter. Spread it out. Get a room where you can spread it, maybe on the back of rice, or this mukuta bags that we have at home. You just pour it on it. But if you have a kitchen that is made out of soil, it will be preferable as well to pour it there,
on the soil.
Yes, on the soil, so that it can just hold.
I see.
It will not keep any heat.
Good.
Yes, it's very generally on soil it's very dry and calm and fresh, so you can keep it there. And another way of keeping, if it's just for home consumption, then you can keep it in your fridge, or just keep it in an airy space. That's for home consumption only. But if it's for sales, like I said before, you need a little bit of space. Then don't let it get wet, because once water touches it, it can get rotten too.
Is that when we are preserving it? Because when they selling, I see them. Is it because it's already boiled?
Yes, the one they sell is already boiled.
Okay.
Generally, what is not sold, what is not yet boiled, you'll never see them sprinkling water on it. Yes, you'll never. Instead, if you pour the water on it, you'll be destroying it. So you generally leave it. In fact, when you buy, see, given that we are in the rainy seasons, in the course of transporting from the bush to town, rains can fall and drop on your bags. So once you get home, spread it out. Don't leave it in the bags, because it can get rotten, or it can just boil itself on its own, just cook itself, and it's just ready for you to eat. Meanwhile, that's not the original cooking that you would have wanted it to be like. So those are some of the methods of preservation.
Thank you so much. Very important. And if you really don't know, you make that error when it's not yet boiled. You know leave it inside water. It's swimming inside. I tell you what, you regret. Understand? You run the risk of losing everything you bought. And so the secret is water should not get closer to, and spread it always. Don't keep it tight. Don't keep it tight. Keep it open. Keep it in nets or the baskets there, like Mariko said. And of course, don't allow water. But again, when it's boiled, I see the sprinkle water there. They have a reason for doing that. It's already boiled, and when it's boiled, can it take 2 days off the fridge and it's still good?
The fridge.
Off the fridge.
Well, I would not even advise that you keep it in the fridge though, because it's something that is good to be eaten. Those who sell it already boiled, they have a challenge generally, because once it's not finished for the day, they have to start thinking of how to preserve for the following day in order not to lose it. So when they get home, they leave it in the open. That's in a fresh manner. But in the mornings, I want to believe that they use warm water to just make it fresh again before it comes to market. I want to believe so. If not, Cynthia can surely tell us better.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's hear from Cynthia Binda this afternoon in terms of preservation as far as black plants is concerned. Before we get over to Cynthia, wherever you're connected, ladies and gentlemen, the program is in the heart of the city this afternoon. We want to say hi to you, Maureen Precious in Bafoussam, following us one-on-one. Thank you. Ekwa Catherine FOC in Yaoundé, thank you. Elizabeth Ebony in Boya, thank you. Ma Leyam Bonde in Boya equally. It's nice to know you all are connected there, giving us moral support from the Zender. And equally, we want to say hi to you, Peace Book in Limbe. It's been a while, Peace Book. Peace Book, greetings to you. Catherine Destiny in Cyprus as the Middle East, greetings to you. Equally, we equally have you, Mola Ngombanji in Boya. Good afternoon to you, Mola Ngombanji. Nice to know you are there. Equally, we have you, Elizabeth Ebony. Have I called Elizabeth? Good. Elizabeth Ebony and lots of other persons. All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Why do most Christians often sleep during preaching times in church? That's what we're dwelling on this afternoon in terms of the question for the day. You have the numbers in front of your screen there. We promise to come take some reactions today. We would definitely do that. Meantime, greetings to you, Daniel Angi in Douala. Greetings to you, Ama Charles Taboko in Bamenda, Catherine Destiny, Cyprus, Middle East, Isaac Nate in Boya, Saddam Clovis in Boya, Joke in Boya, Hannah Nanga in Boya, and of course Oscar Makia in Boya. We will not leave you out. Etal Mobit in Yaoundé. Nice to know you all are there this afternoon. As far as the program is concerned, you just put beautiful smiles on our faces. All right, we turn over to you, Binda. You take us into the kitchen department, but again, anything to add in terms of preservation, black plum? I know you're a lover of it. You eat it. You love it. That I know.
Of course, Miss Via, there's so many of us that love that.
Good.
Black plum. Generally, what I do is I eat it just like a meal. One thing that my concern about water is very important, because if you keep it inside water, it wouldn't get ready like all.
Good.
Get ready one-sided. One-sided. That's a very big challenge. You'll notice that when people cook this with warm water, it's not water that is hot. It's just water that you put on the fire. When you put your hand, it seems as if it's hot. That's when you use it to cook. It's not hot water.
Why?
Because if it's too hot, it wouldn't cook well.
This is serious.
If it's too cold, it wouldn't cook well. So the water has to just warm just a little.
Okay. If I understand you this afternoon, the same kind of warm water we use in bathing newborn babies.
Maybe that one is even hot.
Newborn babies?
It's hot.
Really?
Yes.
So this thing is fragile more than
hot.
or complicated?
Yes, it's fragile than plum.
Or it's just complicated?
Yeah, it's complicated to cook.
Okay.
That's it.
This
The water is even
serious.
hot because the baby needs to be warm. The water, the water just needs to be warm just a little. Then you put your black. You don't even put it on the fire.
Good.
As soon as it get warm, you put the pot down. You put the plum. Close the pot. You're not supposed to open the pot until the plum gets ready.
How would you know it's ready?
Means you time yourself.
This is serious. How many minutes though?
It's between 15 to 30 minutes.
That's how we
You
can
don't
boil
have
it.
to open the pot, and you have to ensure that the water covers the plum. So it's very complicated when it has to do with what water touches it is very complex. It's something that is not easy. And you will notice that sometimes you go and you buy it, the one that is not well cooked is bitter because it does not cook well. That's what generally we notice. So this thing is a very complicated business to do. You need to be tactical to get to it. Time for me to get to the kitchen. Miss B, we started with the kwakoko, and that was Monday, and we did granule soup, that is sauce blanche on Monday. Tuesday we added okra. Today I want us to do just plain okra that will be with us.
Good.
I know it might be challenging for some people to consume this with just okra soup. That is okra that we don't use oil. Okra that is made without oil. For those who didn't know, because people know that they do okra just with oil. This one is different.
Plain okra soup.
Yes, plain okra soup with
Thank you.
oil. Some of us, most people that are sick love it that way. They don't like that it should be oil. Those who have health challenges to love it that way. We did the kwakoko on Monday and Tuesday. That's great. You cook around. You put all the entire and then you cook. You have to cook it this way. Ensure that there's so much water so that the leaf doesn't touch the edges of the pot. Because if it does, it's going to burst and enter inside the water.
Okay.
So sometimes we prefer to use leaves. For our okra this afternoon, because our interest is in our okra this afternoon, that okra that is made without soup, without oil, sorry. Okra made without oil. What you know do is you take your okra, you chop and then you grind. Some people will chop, but they will not heat it on the stone or inside the mortar. They'll just do it that way. That means when they chop it, you just put it inside the pot. They eat it that way. Have you ever tried that, Miss B? You know, you just cut the okra like that.
And put in the pot. Plain. Yes, it's good, especially when it's well made.
Yes,
now, what do we put inside in terms of documents?
You
Because it
can put
matters.
anything. You can put
I
dry
think
fish.
in this
preferably.
system, okay, dry fish can
Just
go.
dry fish.
So we'll put smoked fish and then we'll put the meat.
Meat too can go.
It's excellent.
Yes,
in
meat too
this.
can go. The sauce of meat too can go in it. Like the image that we
Good.
have there. That means you boil the meat first and you allow it to cook well. Then the next thing you put now is the okra, so that it gets right inside. That way you see that there's no need for the oil that you need to add. Then when it's cooked well, then you add maggi and salt. Simple. You boil your meat, you put your okra, and then you put maggi and salt, and then maybe pepper. You can throw the pepper inside the pot or you grind. Then that is good to go. I know some people like to do okra that they add other spices to it. Some others will go with white pepper. Some others with garlic and ginger. Some people will do that, and others with tomato. But as to they wouldn't add any of those to it. You just do it clean with meat. You boil your meat, you add your okra, then put pepper, maggi and salt, and then it's good to go. Then you continue that.
Thank you, Binda. But again, this is complicated. It's very complicated. Why do I say it may look simple to cook, but I tell you what, if it's not well handled, it's going to be pretty difficult to eat. What are some of the spices? I didn't hear you.
No, I didn't say. I said we don't use any spices.
And spice, just plain.
Just pepper.
Gee, this is serious.
Just pepper that is added to it.
Just pepper.
It's pepper soup okra. That's how it is commonly called. More what is added to it is just pepper. For those who have problems with appetite, what you do in our home economics classes 108.5, these are the kind of things that they used to advise for people that convalescent.
Okay.
People are sick.
I think it will need to be a little bit pepperish.
Yes, that's why there's pepper in it. That's why there's pepper. I like it.
When there's pepper, no spices.
Well, the no spices aspect, that's where I'm still struggling to stand. Because I always like to put a little bit of ginger and a little bit of garlic. Let it just be seasoned. Let it season a little bit. Just
A little bit of ginger, a little bit of garlic. Alright, garlic. Garlic in okra, I'm sure it's going to produce a unique taste.
Yeah, it gives you the particular
it
taste.
always has a very great
Because
flavor.
ginger, good flavor too. It's ginger that I'm still, how would the taste look like?
It's still good, Miss B.
It's still
I've
good.
tried that many
Good.
times.
If the girls are confirming that it's still good, ladies and gentlemen, it's an indication that it's good. Yeah, everything is still good. Try and then come back, tell us the result. Thank you so much, Binda, for bringing that this afternoon. As far as the program is concerned, let's see how we can get some reactions from this end. As far as the question for the day is concerned, why do most Christians often sleep during preaching time in church? That's what we're dealing with this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we have I think that's Mula Gumbanje, all the way from Boya, who says when the pastor is preaching on giving, it's always a problem. The Christians tend to sleep when the pastor is preaching on giving. Thank you so much, Mola. Very important. We have you, Flo Flo. Thank you so much for greeting us here in the studios of NG Television, Flo Flo. And we have you, Ada Juan, in Dubai, who says it's when the pastor is talking, not preaching. All right, so there's a difference. Thank you so much. This is very important. I'm going to jot that down because we have to really talk on it. When the pastor is talking and not preaching, so it's an indication that there's a difference between talking and preaching. But all of them, whether you're preaching, you're talking. Whether you're talking. Finally, where are we? Thank you so much. It's your opinion there. We're glad to receive that from you. That Juan, all the way from Dubai, that's the United Arab Emirates. We have Catherine Destiny in the Middle East, that's Cyprus, who says lack of concentration for many Christians. All right, lack of concentration. Thank you so much. Princess Kelingowo, that's Iyangowo, the Bukwai princess in Boya, who says the lack of the Holy Spirit. This one now is deep, my dear. He's trying to understand this, the lack of the Holy Spirit. Ellen Zion in Yaoundé says when the preaching is too long, it's a problem. When the preaching is too long. Thank you so much. I remember the girls talked on that maybe Monday or Tuesday. And we have PM King Cups, that's Mola in Yaoundé, who says they sleep in the spirit, my dear. Mola, this is so serious, you understand? I was really holding myself with my eyes, you know. So they sleep in the spirit. Well, which one is sleeping in the spirit now? Anyway, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We keep entertaining your text messages from the Zen. We have you, John Winston Bechem, all the way from Lagos, Nigeria, who is for, it happens in churches where the pastor lectures instead of preaching. This is serious. Another word has come in, lectures instead of preaching. But there's a difference between lecturing and preaching. But you're lecturing, you're talking, you're preaching. So finally, I think I need to know the difference between talking and preaching, lecturing and preaching. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We keep entertaining your text messages. We want to take on the health. But before we do that, we go online with what we have here. Mariko, I'm already spotting you there. We have a number of persons. I don't want to go with you, Mola. Let me just give, because this sleeping in the spirit like this means basically to understand. All right, we're talking, I thank God most of the reactions today are targeting, the head machine of the church. That has to do with who is preaching. If you look at the reaction, it's who is preaching. Don't you think most of the times there's a problem to with the preaching? But now, how should pastors, make their preachings interesting? So that Christians don't sleep. At least even if you came with demons of sleep, some people will say it's because they are possessed, with demons of sleep. Demons of sleep, so it's which one is because
sometimes the demon is angry that you are about to receive.
Okay.
So because you are in church, he sees that you're already closer to being saved.
Good.
He appears now with sleep.
Okay.
And then he presses you and then you sleep.
You miss the message.
Then you miss the message. And by the time you're going back home, you are even worse than the moment you came in.
Thank you.
What you're saying about sleep is very possible. Now, on the other hand, like you were asking on how the preacher could make his preachings or his sermons interesting. Honestly, I think I enumerated some on Monday. I was really quick because at that point in my mind, I didn't want to just accuse one person. But I think that the preachers too have a long way to go. Maybe there's something that has to be added on their teachings that they learn. That's their training. That is captivating the audience. That's one thing too. Just imagine that you are in a space where you are imagining that there are people with you. Meanwhile, they are not with you. But you are imagining that you are talking to a crowd. Imagine you're talking to a crowd for 30 minutes and no one is saying a word.
This
you
is
can fall asleep. You, the preacher, you can fall asleep.
How would the church look like?
Because generally, in fact, you two can fall asleep because it's not proactive. It's not proactive. You have to make it proactive in a way that, because you see some people go into their preachings and they are like, they go like their tone is going like this low, at some point it goes high, then it goes low. It means that there's a problem too. They too are not very sure what they are giving out, or they are not even feeling any reception on the other way. Because once you're talking, check, like I was saying, check the people who are in front of you.
Good.
Go through their faces. It's true, they always tell us that when you're in front of a crowd, just look at the heads and don't look at the faces. But in the cases of preachers, they need to look at the faces.
Okay.
Why? Because the countenance will tell you whether you are talking alone or you're talking to people. Because when you're talking to people, there's a reaction. There are some people who will be nodding their heads like this. Others will even clap. Others will stand up. Others will say, preach on. I've heard people who have boosted others to even extend their preaching that was meant for 20 minutes to about an hour. Why? Because of the way the crowd was pushing. Like, preach on, tell the truth, say it out like it is. Because it's touching hearts. But now, when you're not touching any heart, honestly, by the time you're going, that clapping. Seriously, don't think that clapping is to encourage you sometimes. Sometimes the clapping is like, fare thee well, go and let's rest. Because you've been there and no one is really connected to you. So they've been praying that you should quit the zone. You too, you don't understand that it's time for you to leave. Now, the other last but not the least of things that I want to drop is that some preachers go to the extent of singing. That's in between the lines, the sing. It's really good. Because when you sing, you wake up everyone who was maybe aloof. Somebody is in church, but he's not in church. His spirit is elsewhere, but his flesh is in church. So you're talking and thinking that you're talking to a human being. Oh no, sorry sir, you're talking alone. So sometimes when you sing, you make them to come back. They too start singing. Sometimes you hear the preachers and say, stand up and let's praise God for a minute before we continue. And others will spice their preachings with choruses. They spice everything they say. They will bring it out with biblical quotation, and then they add a chorus to it. It's a strategy. They are not doing it because they over know how to sing or they over like singing, but it's because it's a strategy. Sometimes when you're passing a message, when you pass it through a song, it goes through better than when you just say it verbally. And some preachers even go to the extent of insisting that get pens and papers so that you can jot. It might sound like a school, but honestly, we are in the school of God. So what are we expecting?
I think it will help keep you active so that you do not sleep even. Thank you so much, Mariko. Preachers too, you need to make this thing, work. You understand? I think a problem here, if the head machine is okay, the body too will be okay. So it centers more on the preaching. Yeah. Somebody may say sometimes the preaching too can be so wow, where people are still, it's pretty difficult. When the preaching is wow, everybody is up, you will sleep, you even be ashamed. Like, am I correct? You even be ashamed. All right. I turn over to you, Vinda. How should preachers make this thing interesting for us now?
Michael has mentioned practically everything that preachers are supposed to do.
Good.
And the only thing I want to add there is that they should stop reading. Some of them they recite everything. They don't. I believe that the preacher, before you get to the pulpit, you read the scripture you're supposed to read, and then it's the spirit that leads.
Okay.
That's the way I see it. As the spirit that you and things that you see, you're being led by the spirit, and you know that you're touching souls with what you're doing. But if you have to recite everything that is written, everything, like this lesson said that there's, and then you're repeating, it's no longer the same thing. That's why there's 1 week for you to go through and meditate and pray over before you come and stand and say you want to talk to people. People should stop reading. I said you want to, you jot down the points and then you explain. As my God said, people sing. Our pastor in church, he sings. He loves singing live.
Okay.
That means he says that I am the minister of the word. Others are the minister, but the minister through songs. So he knows that you can also get to people through music. You sing and you touch their soul. You see people crying just because you're singing. So that's another way to get to people. People should ensure that their sermons are short. Some people make sermons too long. And what still is that is boring.
Okay.
It's not interesting. Sermons are long.
Yeah, when it's too long, seriously, it's not the best.
It's no longer the same thing. People will sleep. Even you say that, I heard somebody say that that is the Holy Spirit or something like that. It's not always that.
They're sleeping in the spirit.
No,
the absence of the Holy Spirit.
The absence of the Holy Spirit. No, it's not that. You are the one who is supposed to make those people to get to, in fact, the same. They should be at the same level with you. You are the one who is supposed to do that. Is to, with what you come out from your mouth, that will really determine whether the Holy Spirit is there or not. Not just come and preach because they say you're the one preaching today. You see people preach, you see people clap, people are only shouting, and they always, and my God say yes, well said, and all those kind of things. It's because your preaching is interesting.
Okay.
People are really into what you say.
Tell us, sir. Tell us, ma. It's because there's some people too can be shouting that tell us ma, tell us, they're not getting anything. I just shouting. Tell us ma.
But at least they will
When
Tell
they are
us.
fighting sleep to somewhere.
Yes,
now, it's
that's exactly
important.
what I wanted to
Yes,
say.
it's even better.
Oh, yeah,
that way.
People in church are not sleeping.
Yes.
You want to know who is shouting the
Instead
other.
of sitting there and sleeping and contaminating your whole bench, you better stand up and keep saying, "Ride on, sir."
Or you're encouraging the pastor. You know, especially when the pastor walks and comes towards your bench, you make the pastor know they are not sleeping. Tell us, sir. Not tell them. There are some who even say tell them, even in church. This is serious. Tell them. You're in church, tell them. This is serious.
No, maybe they've already had their own share of life. So they are now sorry for the rest.
For the others.
Some of us, so they want to save some of us.
I think I'll go with those who always shout, talk to us, sir. Talk to us. I think this is better. Talk to us. I've heard talk to us. I don't know if I'm correct. Talk to us, sir. Talk to us, ma. Please, if you're in church, don't say tell them. Tell us it's better. You understand?
Secure in heaven.
You were not supposed to be in church again. The church
want
is
to maintain it.
is the biggest hospital in the whole world. Permit me say it, where you find all manner of illnesses, and they go there for solution. So if you don't need solution, I need to. That's why I'm there every day. I need to. And now I'm sick. You understand? So the church is the biggest hospital. Don't expect to see the perfect people in church. You will see the imperfect persons. Why? Because they are there for solution. They are there to be made. Thank
That's
you.
what we say is a church is a hospital.
Thank you.
So if you meet someone there and you're expecting that they should be a doctor,
Thank
then
you.
you're wasting
Ooh.
your time. You all are patients with different illnesses.
Ooh, even the pastor too.
The pastor himself is a
Thank you.
patient.
And the greatest doctor, is called the great physician. Who is that? The great physician, the healer of the balm of Gilead. You understand? It's Jesus Christ. So he himself will come do the healing. You understand? Will come do the will come remove the colon mental. Yes, it's possible. You understand? Okay, thank you, Mariko. Thank you,
You're
Vida.
welcome.
I think Friday will just conclude on this. In as much as the message may be long, you to try to encourage them. Or why not after church send a note to your pastor instead of talking behind a pastor's meeting? If they give you that puppy, you will take 10 hours. If pastor took 5, you will take 10. Most of all people say this pastor's message today. If they give you in fact, Christians will even start walking out of church. That's when you realize that, hey, what am I doing? You see? So you can even, I don't know, maybe the girls will talk on that. You can write a small note in the paper with all due respect to Papa. You understand? Mama. You understand? I think I'll go with Papa and Mama. Hey, thank you. I forgot that one. Daddy.
Daddy of daddies.
Daddy. That's how they call. There's a difference. Daddy is us in the house. And the one in the church, Daddy. I don't know if I'm correct. That's what I used to be. So the difference there is not the spellings. Merci beaucoup. All right, we'll talk on Friday on how, we'll make it work. We all are here to bring solutions when we come with questions like this. How do we make it work? We talk on that on Friday. Are you afraid of your pastor? No. If you're afraid of your pastor, there's a problem. Walk up to him with all humility, that I must say, humble spirit, and with a friendly smile, not that fake smile, not like you're coming to challenge. Anyway, let's see what happens tomorrow. You understand? I know the girls will vomit venom. You understand? From this side, don't go as if you're challenging the pastor. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just say one word. Production room, permit us please, on the symptoms to know that you are suffering from knee pains. When the knees are swollen and you start facing stiffness, you can't really, they are not flexible, there's a problem. You understand? When they are red, sometimes, especially those who are very fair, if it's red, fine. And those who are dark in complexion, when it's very dark, their knees, it could be a problem. And then paining again is a problem. And then when you find weakness, you lose stability. You can't really stand well without supporting yourself somewhere. You can't really stand, do the exercise. I wish Miss B could do. Miss B was already up even. Stand, what's that? Sit, stand, what's that? Roy, people should come and help me here. Sit, stand, what's that on? Together. Thank you. Sit, stand.
And this is how we exercise
Our body. If you can't really sit, stand, what's that every day? It's a problem. And if you realize that the knees cannot bear your weight, it's a problem. When we talk about bear your weight, it's an you cannot carry your body. Run to the nearest medical center for checkup. Tomorrow we'll give you solutions. That's what you can eat, what you can do to be able to fight that even at your local level. From this end, we want to say ciao. We want to draw the curtains of today's edition of the program in the heart of the city, but we're saying thank you so much. All those who made the program what it is today, we want to say hi to somebody who's just said hi to us in the studios of NG Television, all the way from, is it Bamda, if I'm not mistaken? Good. I think someone is like hi to, permit us get that, ladies and gentlemen. Good. Hi to Belta and NG Television listeners. This is serious. The person knows me by name. You know that name is difficult. Anyway, greeting us here in the studios of NG Television. Thank you so much. Your number is 677-40-8286. We'll take the message in full tomorrow. Thank you so much. Let's say ciao, Mariko. Thank you. I like that name, Belta.
Thank you, Miss Thank you, Belta. All right.
All right. Thank you,
See you
Mariko.
tomorrow, Miss V. Thank you
you.
very much for having me. Good
Good.
afternoon. A wonderful one to you, Cynthia B.
Good.
And to all the viewers out there.
Thank
Ciao.
you. Thank you, Binda. Nice day from this end.
Wonderful day to you and to all our viewers and to Mariko.
Thank you, Cynthia.
All right. Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow is another day. We're going to be here, God willing. See us and see you tomorrow.